I kicked my own brother out of my house after he tried to sleep with my wife. Yeah, let that sink in. And the worst part? My parents think I'm the problem. I don't even know how things got this messy so fast. But I need to tell this story from the beginning because even now, it still doesn't feel real. So, I'm 25, my wife is 25 too, and we've been together since high school. She's not just my wife, she's literally my best friend. She's the kind of person that doesn't raise her voice, doesn't get into drama, doesn't even like confrontation. Soft-spoken, kind, loyal to a fault. The type of girl you don't ever expect to be in the middle of something like this. We built our life slowly. Nothing flashy, nothing crazy, just peace. Both of us work from home, so we're always around each other. And honestly, I love it like that. No stress, no chaos, just us. At least, that's how it used to be, until my brother showed up. My brother is 35. Yeah, 10 years older than me. And I'm not even trying to be harsh, but he's never really had his life together. He jumps from one random low-paying job to another, quits whenever things get tough, and somehow always ends up back at my parents' house. And recently, it happened again. Apparently, he quit another job, my parents confronted him, and he completely lost it. Like full-on argument, shouting, storming around the house. Next thing I hear, he's getting kicked out. And suddenly, my phone rings. It's my mom, begging me, "Please, just let him stay with you for a little while. He has nowhere to go." And I'll be honest, I didn't want to. Not because I hate my brother, but because I know him. He's irresponsible, lazy, and honestly, unpredictable. But then I looked at my wife, and she gave me that look, that we should help him look. And that was it. We agreed to let him stay, but with conditions, simple ones. Clean up after yourself, act like an adult, and most importantly, find a job. He agreed. Of course he did. They always do in the beginning. So he moved in. And for the first couple of days, everything seemed fine. Too fine, actually. He was quiet, kept to himself, barely spoke. And I remember thinking, maybe he's finally growing up. Yeah, that thought didn't last long, because about 6 days later, everything changed. I was just sitting in the living room, working, nothing unusual, and my wife walks in. But something was off. She looked shaken, like she didn't even know how to start talking. And that's when I knew something wasn't right. So I asked her what was wrong, and she hesitated, which is rare for her. And then she finally said it. "He's been flirting with me." At first, I didn't even process it. I thought she meant like awkward compliments or something harmless. But then she kept talking, and every word made it worse. She said he wasn't just being nice. He was telling her things like, "I could give you a better life than him. You deserve more than this." And then he asked her to sleep with him. In my house, while I was literally in the next room. I felt something in me just snap, like everything went quiet for a second, and I just stared at her, trying to make sense of what I just heard. And then I asked the only thing I could think of, "What did you say?" And that's when she told me. She didn't stay quiet. She didn't ignore it. She didn't play nice. She destroyed him. She told him he was a useless, almost 40-year-old man who had nothing going for him. No job, no car, no direction, no relationship, nothing. And honestly, I've never been more proud of her. But apparently, he didn't take that well. Because after that, his attitude towards me completely changed. Suddenly, he was disrespectful, talking down to me, acting like he had authority in my house. And that's when everything clicked. That's why he'd been acting weird. That's why he'd been quiet. He wasn't growing up. He was plotting. And that's when I knew he had to go. Immediately. So I walked straight to his room. No hesitation, no second thoughts. And I told him, "Pack your stuff, you're leaving." At first he laughed, like it was a joke. And then he realized I was serious. And that's when things escalated. fast. He started shouting, saying I was overreacting, saying I should control my wife. Yeah, he actually said that, in my house. And I lost it. We were yelling over each other. 10 straight minutes of pure chaos. Insults, swearing, everything. And the craziest part? He kept acting like he was right. Like I was the one being unreasonable. At some point, my wife called my parents. And when they arrived, I thought they'd be on my side. I thought they'd hear what happened and drag him out themselves. But no, they started shouting too. At everyone, at him, at me, at the situation. And somehow, I was still getting blamed. To this day, I don't even fully understand why. Maybe because I kicked him out. Maybe because it turned into a fight. I don't know. But what I do know is this. He crossed a line you don't come back from. You don't hit on your brother's wife. You don't disrespect someone in their own home. And you definitely don't expect to stay there after that. Eventually, they took him. And the house went quiet again. But it didn't feel the same. My wife was crying. And when I saw that, I just broke. All the anger, all the frustration, it just hit me at once. And I cried too. We both did, just sitting there, holding each other, trying to process what just happened. And after a while, we did something simple. We put on a movie, The Perfect Date. Yeah, I know, not exactly the vibe after all that. But honestly, we just needed something normal, something light, something to remind us that everything else was still okay. And for a moment, it was. But now, my brother is back at my parents' house, and they're mad at me. Like I did something wrong, like I should have handled it differently. And I keep thinking about it, over and over again. Did I go too far? Should I have handled it differently? Or was I right to kick him out immediately? Because honestly, I don't feel like the bad guy. But at the same time, a part of me still wonders, am I the asshole here?